Again, welcome everyone. So last week we had a quick introduction class. Not many people were present. So anyway, so it was very introduction kind of thing. So today we'll continue. So different. So all of us, we have different purposes of learning Sanskritam. Some of us, we want to understand Bhagavad Gita or some other scriptures or some other literature which is in Sanskritam, including Ramayanam, Mahabharatam, and etc. There are translations available in various languages, and we can also read those translations in our own language and understand them quickly. However, there is a purpose in understanding or reading them in Sanskritam. One thing is that, what is written originally by the author itself becomes clear. That's one thing. And secondly, there are commentaries to those original works, like Ramayanam or Bhagavad Gita also. There are commentaries which are in Sanskritam itself. So it is very fascinating to read those commentaries also, to get different perspectives of different commentators. Then there are other benefits of Sanskritam. I don't need to explain that, but most of you know that learning Sanskritam language, enhances the brain capacity, etc. Those studies have been done. But so why? Because the Sanskritam language is a processed or perfect language in the sense the language constructs, the way the words are formed, the way the words are used in the sentences, etc. Especially in these the scriptures, etc. They have been done with some purpose and with some logic. So with that kind of compositions, so they have profound effects on everything, including our body and the mind and the spirit. So learning Sanskritam, so that is one thing, and there's a byproduct also, because some of us also are interested to converse in Sanskritam. We may be able to convert, right? Because, for example, right now I'm talking in English, which is our common link language now. So we are able to understand each other. So different people, somebody is coming from this Chennai, and somebody from foreign land, somebody is means outside India, somebody is coming from some other parts of India. So we have different languages now. Currently, it's difficult to understand each other. So the English is the language. So it is possible to converse in Sanskritam. So that is another benefit of learning Sanskritam. Now, in either case, whatever is our purpose, whether it is conversation or whether it is understanding different works in Sanskritam, the question comes, how do we begin? Where do we begin? Okay. Now, the first thing is to know that Sanskritam as a language itself does not have any script of its own. It can be written in any script of any other language, which is basically phonetic. Phonetic script should be there. Phonetic means how it sounds. That script should be able to represent that sound in a written format. So that's a phonetic script. So there are some other scripts like Chinese, Japanese, which are more like a pictorial scripts. So they do not represent one single sound. But this Roman script, which is used for writing English language now, and the Devanagari script, and there are many scripts in India itself. So they are mostly phonetic. So we can use any of these scripts to write Sanskritam language. So whereas Sanskritam itself does not have its own script. However, it is easier and becoming more and more, or there's a more the large number of texts which are written in Sanskritam now. They use Devanagari script by large. So it will be beneficial if we know how to read and write Devanagari script. So this Devanagari script itself is evolved. So it has its history from Nagari, etc. So now this Devanagari script, which is currently used to write Hindi language and few other languages in India, like Marathi, etc. So this is popular, and it is suited for Sanskritam also. So that doesn't mean that other scripts are not suited for Sanskritam. They are also equally suited, but this is more and more used. So it is just easy and standard for us to know Devanagari. The next step is, the question comes especially from those who are not familiar with some Indian language, because in Indian language, about the vocabulary, the question is vocabulary, because in the most of the Indian languages, they have a lot of Sanskrit words in them. So even in the day-to-day usages, the objects we refer to, the constructs we use, they have a lot of Sanskrit words in those languages. So for them, the vocabulary is not that of much of a problem. And secondly, even the grammar construct, the Vyakaranam, what we say in grammar, that is also similar. May not be, there may be some differences, but many of it is similar to what Sanskritam Vyakaranam or grammar has. So even to pick up the grammar of Sanskritam, if some person knows like some Indian language, it will be easier for them. But the question comes for others, the vocabulary is the challenge. The first challenge is the script, Devanagari script. So for that, there is no other way to practice it. And it is not that hard. No. So if we are able to identify single letters, different single letters first, to start with that, and then there are conjunct letters. Conjunct means combinations of two letters into one. So unlike this English script, this Roman script, which is for English language, so each letter is separate here, even though it's some like a conjunct. Conjunct means two consonants, two syllables together here, or two consonants. For example, say this K, when we write Sanskrit, this SKR. So these are like a single standing letters here, 2, 3 different letters. But in Devanagari, we are going to combine and use them together. So those things, the principles of those, like how the Devanagari conjunct letters are written. So those principles are, we have seen in the beginner level 1, the previous class. So if somebody wants, I'll just go to that very quickly, but if somebody wants to understand those once again, we can take it offline. And there are workbooks also. There are workbooks, the links which I had provided last time, and I'll provide them again, and hopefully you have them. There are workbooks which you can download, you can buy, and to practice this Devanagari. So that is the one is the Devanagari, that is the script challenge for those who do not know it, and secondly the vocabulary. Now the vocabulary, what my thought is, we should not worry too much about it unless we are interested in, really seriously interested in only conversation. So if you are interested in conversation, if that is our purpose, goal, yes, then we will have to just understand or know words for different objects, that we see, that we use in our daily life. So for conversation. But for reading and understanding different works like Bhagavad Gita, etc. So generally, it is first what we need to do is to understand the structure of a sentence and how those different words are connected. So that means basic grammatical structure. So, without worrying too much about the vocabulary, means what we call the stable, what we call how do we say this? What do we call this? Whatever mobile device or computer, etc. So those will come eventually, but important is to understand. Start learning the some basic words which we'll go through, and then the basic sentence structure, right? Like how those words are used in a sentence, the structure of a sentence. If we understand that, then what happens is when we start reading these other books, like Bhagavad Gita, let it be Bhagavad Gita, or any other textbook also, like storybooks, etc. Then it should be very easy actually, because we know the sentence structure or how the words are formed, and then if we do not know the meaning of the word, then we can look up the dictionaries. The dictionaries are there. So because the Sanskrit language, the structure is somewhat standard. Mostly it is standard. The language itself, we have to understand, the Sanskritam language, I don't consider it as any other language. That's why it's called Sanskritam. So it does not have a specific name to it, attached to it, Sanskritam. Sanskritam is not the name of it's the name of the language which it has earned actually, right? It is not given like it is like a Hindi language, it is English language which belongs to the English area, or it is some Russian language which belongs to Russia. So this is Sanskritam language, which means Sanskritam, well formed, well perfected, processed. So it is unlike any other language. This one has a speciality. What is the speciality? That its grammar or its words, how they are formed, they are very well constructed rules are there. So if you focus on those rules, then we can understand by looking at a particular word. We can understand, we should be able to understand, this is the form of a word, and this is the role of a word in a sentence. For example, if you take the English sentence, so a boy is going to school. So here going, or say, let's take it simple present tense, like boy goes to school. So in this, goes is the verb, right? We know that it is a verb. And boy is the person who is doing the verb, and where he is going to school. So these are the three different parts or components are there in that sentence. So similarly in Sanskritam, these different roles or parts can be identified by their suffixes. So each word has a suffix which is called pratyaya. Pratyaya is a suffix. I'll write it down for a reference. Pratyaya is a suffix attached to a word in a sentence, in a Sanskritam sentence. It is attached to a word. So that will, looking at that, you should be able to make out its role. Now, where to what the pratyaya is attached? Pratyaya is attached to the base word. So every word is formed of two parts. One is the base and the other is the suffix. So there is a base word, then there is a suffix. So the base is called Mola Padam. You can call it Mola Padam. So there are some grammatical terms which we'll come across later. And there is a Mola Padam and there is a suffix which is Pratyaya. So by looking at this Pratyaya, then we can identify mostly what is the role of that, whether it is a verb, whether it is what is the tense of it, that's a present tense, past tense, future tense, etc. And then what is the, whether it is doing the action, whether it is taking the action, whether the action is performing in that place, indicated by that word. For example, in this case, boy is going to school. School is being reached. So whether it is taking the effect of that action, or if we say somebody is reading in the school, inside the school, or in the reading in the room. So inside the room the action is happening. So this inside the room, outside the room, or reading something. So there are different, the action happens in a different way with different words in a sentence. So these are identified by different suffixes to the base word in a sentence. So it would be helpful. So what the grammar say that, okay, look at the suffix and then identify the role. And then there is a base part. This base part is the one which we can look up at the dictionary. Okay? For example, if we are saying that in a city there is a garden and there is a park. So in a city, so we don't know what is a city means. For example, suppose I am learning English newly, so I don't know what the city means. So I just look up the dictionary. So similarly here also, so if we say that Nagara, so Nagara is the base word. So inside the Nagara, to say that we say Nagare, inside the city. So we say Nagare. So this A is a effect of the suffix on that Nagara is the base word. So we just are going to look up the Nagara in the dictionary. If we look at the Nagare, if we try to look up Nagare in the dictionary, we are not going to find it. So it is only the base words which are in the dictionary. So we look up the Nagara, then we see that it is city. Then what is the suffix on that? Nagare. A is coming. So then if you know what are the different suffixes, what different forms are there for that base word in different roles in a sentence, then we will understand that Nagare means inside the city. So this is a basic thing we need to remember. So we should not worry too much about the vocabulary. So as we study or read different books, then we are going to come across different words like this. Then we should be easy to, or we should know how to look up the dictionaries. Because Sanskritam is a very vast language. And remember that these words which are formed here, they are not the only words. Remember, the Sanskritam language is a special language. It is a constructed language in the sense it's a processed language. That means it has a different philosophy in it. Okay? It has a different philosophy of how the words are formed. Unlike in most of the languages, the words are just coined, as far as I know. Like why a table is called table, why a chair is called chair. So in English language, so it might have its own etymology, but if we trace the etymology in English language, it goes to it might link to some Latin or some Greek or something, and then even there, why do we call that a certain object with certain name? Will be a question mark. But unlike in that in Sanskritam, most of these words have some etymology rooted into something, and based on that, different words are formed to indicate or to indicate different objects in the word. For example, Utpitika means table, and then Asanam means chair. So why is it called Asanam? So there is a reason, etymology for that. So it also helps if to understand the etymology, then to understand why it is called Asanam. So if you are just looking at, so the approach has to be a little bit different here while studying Sanskritam. If you are just looking at like some chart or books of book of words, where some pictures are given saying that this means mirror, darpana means mirror, this means chair, this means table, this means computer, this means fridge. So it is very hard to by heart memorize all those things. So basically there is no memorization needed here actually to know the vocabulary. If you know the base or the etymology or what is the etymology, that you will come to know once we start going forward. But it's very beautiful actually. So what is asanam? It comes from some root or some base word, some base. Okay, either. So if you know that, then there are multiple benefits of that. Then we don't have to remember actually that asanam exactly the full word. Asanam means chair. Sheetakam means fridge. So that is one benefit. Then secondly, there is a pure joy. Okay? That is, this is the basis of the word asanam. This is the basis of the word pitika. This is the basis of the word sanganakam, etc. Then third benefit is using that logic. Using that logic, we should be able to understand other words which may be based on similar etymology. And the fourth benefit is we may be able to coin new words based on that root words. So the Sanskritam is all about logic. How do we understand its heart? How do we capture its heart? How do we understand its essence? It is not just mugging up some words, looking at some charts or books. We have to understand its essence. So what is this language? How is this language formed? So I don't want to say how this language originated, but because nobody knows when it originated, how it originated. So what we know is it is very logical language, is very much etymological language. It has its roots very much strong, and it's very logical. So if you know that, it should not be hard. So we should look at this language a little bit different. Not like, unlike we have this many courses like Rapid X courses, to learn English language in 30 days, 60 days, whatever. So just it shows like a list of words. You just memorize them and then memorize some sentences like where are you going, what are you eating. So those are memorization exercises basically. But unlike that, Sanskritam language is a bit different. It's more logical. We have to understand how the words are formed, what are the basis of these words, and then build upon that to know the language ourselves, to make the language as our language. So I'm going to take a break of a minute here. So is there any question? Somebody had some comment question. You can unmute your line.
Oh, actually, it was me. I had my hand raised. Uma, before you had on, and that was very interesting. But in addition, I was just curious in terms of reading that word that you wrote there, pratya was how you pronounced it. But to me, when I was trying to read it, because I'm trying, yes, thank you. And then I was wondering why it wouldn't be like pratyaya. Like, how do I know? What?
Yeah, so pratyaya is pratyaya. Reading, reading is again linked to script, identifying the script. So if you only talk about this language, this is just a spoken language. See, we call Sanskritam as a Bhasha. Bhasha, I don't know exactly what in English what the language means. It might also mean the same thing. But here Bhasha, what I am writing here, Sanskritam Bhasha. Bhasha means something which is spoken. Yeah. So it is important first to hear it, listen to it, and repeat, be able to repeat. That is Bhasha. So generally, we should be able to, that is how the, previously at least, how the Bhasha was learnt. The language was, this Sanskrit language was learnt, and all the works we have, including Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, etc., they were passed from generation to generation by just the oral tradition. Just somebody recites it, and the other one repeats it, just memorization, and just go on. So the writing came much later. Now that we have, and then you have to understand, for any language, there are four aspects, right? Like one is listening. Be able to listen is what other person is talking, that language and the words. Be able to listen and understand it. That is the one aspect of this. And the other one is be able to listen and talk, right? Or speak. So this is the second aspect. So at least we should be able to do that. And the third one is read, and then the fourth one is write. Read, write. These four aspects of any language, and the four ways of studying or understanding or getting into the languages, these four different pillars, you can say, or aspects or dimensions of a language. Listening, very base first step, and talking or speaking those words and sentences, second thing, and reading, and then the last one is the writing, which seems to be the last point, the most complicated compared to the other three. Writing means you can write a simple sentence also, or you may be able to form your own sentences, or then as you move forward in the language, then you should be able to write your own paragraphs, own essays, and etc., own poems, etc. So those are advanced stages. Then, so listen and talking, we don't need script. Okay? When we want to listen, somebody's what is talking, and we want to speak, we do not need the script. But when does this work properly? When we are surrounded with people who are speaking that language. Suppose I want to learn any language like Russian, for example. I don't know anything about Russian. So if I go to Russia and live there for like a month, it will be very easy for me to quickly pick it up. Yeah? I should be able to talk it, even without be able to reading and writing. So because I'm surrounded with those people, and by looking at their gestures and then how they are communicating, etc., it will be very easy to pick that up. But Sanskritam is a problem because we do not have many speakers in Sanskritam, and it's difficult to be surrounded with that, with those speakers. So it is not possible to get that with that just by, it's not possible to get immersed in that environment and then be able to pick up. So that's why we now need a script to communicate, because what is helping or supplementing the listening part here, the reading, right? So listening is through ears and reading is through eyes. So when we are not able to hear or listen somebody talking, and we can read it, we can read it. So the reading is supplementing the listening part, and writing is supplementing the talking part. So we want to speak, but the person is away, so he can't hear us. So in that case, we want to communicate that what we want to speak. So writing is supplementing it. So now the listening part has to be supplemented by the scripts, and the talking part also has to be supplemented by the scripts now. So we need script now. So now we are talking about the script, whether how do we know the script. So that's why we discussed before that the Devanagari, we are making it now, at least for this course, the script for Sanskritam. So when you say reading is a challenge, yeah, that is the script is a challenge, learning the script. So if anybody else has any advice on practicing this Devanagari script, they can share, please. Other than what I could say, just practice it, practice the workbooks, and probably when we start reading in this course, when you start going through the lessons, that might be helpful, because you are going to come across more and more that script is going to come in front of you. And the other thing that might help is if we are used to the transliteration scheme, like if you are used to read the Sanskrit words using other scripts, like I wrote now, Bhasha. I wrote Bhasha, right, like this. So this is like a crutch. This we can eliminate. This crutch we can just do away with.
It's a total crutch for me.
Yeah, right. So just focus on it. If there is a mistake, no problem, because only through mistakes only we learn. Mistakes, there is no problem. So try to write only in this and read only in this. And because the problem is that when you read, there may not be people around you to immediately correct. So as far as possible during this class, at least try to, when we are speaking or when we are looking at certain pictures or with those certain words, try to read it and then repeat loudly if you want. Then if there is some mistake or something, we'll correct it. There are other people also, we know it. And then writing is important. Write it, because many people have now, in the last class also, last beginner's nil class we had, in that also many people did not know this Devanagari script before, but they have continued. They are very persistent. They have continued this, and I have seen the progress. Right now also they are not perfect. There are a lot of deviations happen with this script, but there is a lot of improvement. I see that. So, and they are obviously able to read also. That's good. And they're slow, but they're able to read it. So just eliminate this. This is the problem. And if you know certain that could help. Like if you know certain shlokas, for example, Mahabharata, this Bhagavad Gita, there may be some shloka you may be familiar with, or then you may be accustomed to some chants. So those, at least, because you know how to pronounce, right? Because you're already pronouncing them, you're already chanting them. Like suppose if you are saying Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharat, etc., you know chanting, right? Then at least those you should be able to read. Just put that, you get them, get those lyrics or the Devanagari version of those chants very easily. So do not refer to those chants using other scripts. Just use the Devanagari script, because you know the chant. You should be able to identify. So this means this. This script means this. This letter in that Devanagari. So Devanagari script, which quickly this is not. We do not want to cover Devanagari as a script in this course, because that is not our focus. But just for a quick thing, that in Devanagari what happens, all the letters, they are written with the horizontal line at the top, that's one. And then there are few letters which are like a K. For example, if you take K here. So this has a line, vertical line standing in between. Okay. So there are many letters in Devanagari script who have the standing line in between, or in the beginning or at the end. Okay. So for example, if you take Devanagari script here, where was the Devanagari script? Was it here? No. Okay, let's take this. Okay. So if you look at this, you identify that there are letters here where, like this, that they are with a standing line or the vertical line, like G. So these are the basic principles of Devanagari script. So there are vertical lines like this. And there are some other letters who do not have vertical lines. They are just hanging down from the horizontal line on the top, like this, T, T, D, etc. Okay? Like this last clause. So these are the two different varieties here you see here. One is with a line, vertical line, and the other ones are just hanging from the top. So these are two varieties, and as you see here in this table, these are independent syllables, right? Like ka, kha, ga, gha. These are consonants, which I think all of you are familiar with this. And then for a conjunct, what happens? So for example, if I want to say conjunct, we went through this conjuncts in the previous course. So I want to quickly present that here. Conjunct, what happens while writing in Devanagari? For example, if I want to say what, like in English, if I want to say pla, let's say pla. So in this pla, which one is the full sound, which one is the half sound here? Or which one is the full consonant, which one is the half consonant here? Anybody?
P is the half consonant.
Yeah.
P and A would be the half. I think L is the full.
Right. So pa is the half consonant here. It is half pronounced like pla. When you're saying pla, the beginning there is a pa, which is half, and then there is a la following pa, and la is full because we are adding the to sound, vowel to it. So that makes it full. What makes it full? La. La is full. Full in the sense la is having the vowel part to it, and pa doesn't have vowel part to it. It's just a pure consonant, and overall it is pronounced as pla. But while writing, what happens is we have to see where is la. Where is la here? First we have to see where is pa here. So pa is here. Note this down. And la is here, right? La is here on this slide. La is here. Now in Devanagari, how we are going to write pla? Whatever is half, we are going to write half here, right? This. If you remember pa, this pa, we are going to write half, and then full la, because la is, sorry again, pa we are going to write half means what? What is half? Without that vertical line. If the vertical line is at the end, many of them are at the end, right? If it is the end, ga, nya, na, etc. There is a vertical line, ma, bha. It is at the end, and if it is written to be half, then we are not going to use that vertical line. Just the pa, first part of this pa here, right? Without the vertical line. So that indicates it is half. Then we are going to follow that half letter with a full syllable la, because la had also a sound in it, and the la here, which is written like this also has a full a sound in it. If it doesn't have a full a sound, then we are going to write a slant line at the bottom to indicate that it is a consonant and not a full, it doesn't have a vowel in it. So note that. So what we are going to write for pla, so pa half, and then la. Half means without the vertical line. It could have been written like this also, like this pa, indicating that it doesn't have any vowel inside it, no swara, just the consonant, and then there is la, like this. This is also correct. So people who do not know or who are new to this Devanagari, please note that there is not a single way to write these words. So they all mean the same. Whether you write it like this, many times people confuse, because this may not be the similar concept in other scripts. So here there is not a single way to write. So if you see this, it is the same. And not only that, if you see this pa, and then this is a consonant la, and then there is a, this also means the same thing, because we are saying that this is the pa consonant, that there is a la consonant after that, and there is a vowel. So together it has to be pronounced pla. Okay? Pla. Whether you write it like this, it is the same thing. Now, but generally we don't, in the books and etc., we don't see it like this, right? Obviously, we don't see it like this, and probably sorry, where is my eraser? Sometimes we see like this, but mostly we don't see it like that also. What we see mostly is like this, pla. Also note that this, sometimes while we are reading, again if you are new, it is also confusing sometimes whether there should be curve like this for pa, or whether it should be square like this for pa. It's confusing. Mostly it is like this, but there is no hard and fast rule that there should be what should be the angle of curvature, etc. Okay? Sometimes if I write like this, it's okay. Yeah? Not a big deal. So don't think that it's a different letter. Similarly, for example, bha, ma. Like take this bha, for example. Bha, here you don't see the bha is written like this. Okay? Here it is filled. So it doesn't mean that we have to fill it. Well, actually we also write. It doesn't mean that. So you can write it like this. This is also bha. Okay? And if I make it a circle, this is also bha. So these are like a font variations. You know, like when if I write in English also, I can write A like this, or if I write A like this. Yeah? So you understand that. So that's A. So similar to that also, we have this different writing style variations here. So general rule for Devanagari conjuncts or the Sanyuktakshara, what we call in Sanskritam, is that if it has a vertical line at the end, and if we want to write that half, so exclude that vertical line and just write it without the vertical line and write the next consonant with the vowel in it. So if it is just we write the we know that. If it is a, we are going to add one vertical line. So these things you should know. What the vowel following it, how do we write? For a, we write like this. If it is e, we are going to write like this. Okay? Now here also, if you want to write pli, then first we are going to write pla, and then we are going to, this will be outside. This vertical line will be before it and outside the spur also. Okay? Outside the spur, and then this becomes pli. Okay? It will not be like this. Okay? So the first the pla and then the whole thing, e. So then for long e, dirgha e, we are going to say the vertical line that will come like this. After that, like it becomes pla first and then like this, pli. Okay? In some variations, you may see, for example, where do I start this, whether I should start here or start here. No, it won't start here. But in some printing, you might see that it might be starting slightly here. That's fine, as long as you understand it is a pli. Okay? Pli. Then there is a similarly for e, u, there is and there are variations for u also, like lu. If you want to lu, short u will be like this, and long u will be like this, lu. Yeah? Lu, and then there is a lu, etc. For ru is a vowel, ru. And then for to add that vowel, we are going to just make it like this, small c at the bottom, ru. And ru, what remains now? Lay. For lay, we just want to add a slant line at the top, okay? Forward slash on the top here. Forward or backward slash. Yeah. Lay, and if there are, it's next to a vowel is lie. So there is this lie. So what this exactly means? Note that this is consonant vowel, consonant la plus there is I at the top. Sorry, I following it, I vowel following it, and that is represented in Devanagari script like this, lie. Then there is low. Low, again, note that I am writing low like this, okay? Which is okay. If you write like this also, it is fine. Okay? Low like this, and low like this. So these are different variations. So in conjunct letters, remember, if it is a vertical line of the consonant, then after that consonant, if something is there, then you skip this vertical line and write just the first part. and follow it up with the next second consonant. That is for the vertical lines. What if there are some letters which are vertical lines in between? For example, this k and p here. Okay? So there, vertical line is fully written, and this part is half written. Like this, for example, k. If you make it full, then it becomes like this, k with a in it. But if it is half k, for example, if we want to write k, then what we are going to do? We are not going to write this full curve at the second part here. And just half curve. Let's stop it here and then follow it with the kta here. Okay? Kta. So, similarly, if there's a vertical line in between here for the fa. So if there is half fa you want to write, same thing. Write the full vertical line and half, do not complete it, and any other letter following it, like for example, ta, etc. So this is for vertical line. What if there is no vertical line at all? There are many letters like this, ta, da, tha, da, dha, like this, or the. So how do we are going to write this? Okay? Now here there is a reverse actually. So if there is a vertical line, we know that. So for example, the word pla, we studied pla. So what we write? We wrote the pa half first without vertical line, la. But if there is a say la, D-L-A, la. So what we are going to write? This is dangling from the horizontal line. So even though this is half, we are going to write full. Okay? Full. Then there is a la at the bottom. Okay? You write it like this. Write it like this. Okay? La. This is like a half la. So you see that two differences here. So one which are vertical lines. Understand this clearly. One, especially who are new to this Devanagari. And for conjunct letters is the biggest challenge, I think. So vertical lines, if they are vertical lines, they are written half, to make them half. But if they are dangling from the horizontal line and they have no vertical line in them, then to represent their half pronunciation, full letter is written actually in script. And the second part, like this lower part, is written in half here. This is important. Okay? It's a reverse. For those letters which have vertical lines, for those which do not have vertical lines. Okay? There's a reverse here. And then we follow it up with the usual notations for the vowels attached to them. For example, if you want to say dli, okay? D-L-I, dli, and this is a rasa. So if you say on to plea, what we did, so we wrote it like this, plea. So similarly, dli also we wrote the same thing. Okay? The only thing is the half is contrast here. Vertical line, if it is a vertical line, that is written half. If there is no vertical lines, it is written full, and the other one is written half. Okay? What is the other example? If you take like which has no vertical line. For example, you take this cha, cha, shma. You can say shma, shma. So this is cha is half here, but this has no vertical line in it. It's just hanging from the horizontal line there. So we write full there, full, and write ma at the bottom. This is one way of writing it, but you may not find that way because the cha is a little bit difficult to read it like that. Then we can just make it cha with the consonant sign in it, and then this write full ma in front of it. This also means the same thing, chma, like the chma. So two variations, remember. So same principle goes for your Bhasha also. and that's vertical line, no vertical line. Same principle goes here also. But besides that, there are some variations. For example, ra. How are we going to write half ra? In a conjunct, how are we going to write ra? So, for example, if there is arka, this is half ra we want to write. So, this is dangling from the top. There is no vertical line. So, if we follow the principle here, so what we are going to write here? Then full ra, and then bottom ka. But you do not usually find it like this. I don't say this is wrong, but nobody writes it like this. So either you can write it like R, this is the consonant symbol, and then write ka. This is fine, arka. But generally this ra is written in an unusual way. Like ka is written first, and then there is a, what do you call this in English? A tail or whatever. Tail at the top, or a what you call the peacock's feather on the top. Peacock has a feather, so something like that. So arka. So this is same as this is actually half ra, and then there is a ka here, full ka. So there are some exceptions to that principle that we just taught, like vertical line and no vertical line. So especially for this ra. And also if the ra is full, for example, the other way we say akra. I'm writing that. So akra. The one we saw was arka. Now there is a reverse, akra. Ra is full, ka is half. So what is our principle again? And then the ka, write half, right? Because vertical is in the middle, and then ra. This can be written, right? But generally it is not written like this. So if we write it like this, the full ka with a consonant symbol at the bottom and ra, this is fine. But again, in prints and writings, you don't generally find it. This full ra has a special marking, like this, inside that half letter. This is ka is half actually here. Right? Ka is half, but ra is full. So that ra full is indicated by a slant line inside the half letter. Okay? So same thing goes. For example, if you want to write pra, okay? So there also pa is written. Pa is half, but it is written full, and ra is full, and it is indicated by a slant line inside that half pa. Okay? This is pra. Okay? And don't again confuse. And this is pra. So this ra has a special treatment in this Devanagari script. Okay? So if it is half ra, we use it on the top, okay? And then followed by the full letter after whatever that ra comes. And if it is full ra, then first we write the half letter and then use the slant line inside it. There are some exceptions like that. There are some exceptions for a year also. We'll see when we start looking at the different words. Some examples are given here. So, chashaka, it is made up of different consonants and vowels. Cha plus a cha, sha consonant plus a sha, ka consonant plus a plus visarga. This visarga is a different sound. If you have attended that Shiksha course, you know that visarga is a separate sound. Okay? So this a is a vowel. Then we have a visarga as a separate sound added to it. So total it makes chashaka, which is written like this. We'll stop for a minute. Take any questions? me check some comments there. Yeah, don't see any new comments. Oh, yeah, these were the discussions last time in the previous course. Just copied here. Yeah, these were the some specials that I was talking about. So this is like a qua, qua, and kra, which we talked about. Then dia. So this is dia. This ya, which is full. So normal course, the is dangling here, so we should have written like this, right? Within our general principle. But because of that, the ya is dia is special. Like dia is like this is like half the writing of the and then ya, like this, something like this. But usually you see it like this, there, like this. I write it like this. Okay? And you see it like this in print. Yeah. And similarly, tia, tia, you can write it like this also. You don't have to write it like this or like this. Whatever is easier for you, you can write. For dia, I can write it like this. So tia, okay. Tia, you see that ya is written like this, something like this after tia. For me, it is difficult to write this like so. I just write it like this, tia. And then there is a gna. That gna, you see, that is coming in outside, like gra. Gra is like this, and if it is gna, then it is like this. Yeah? Sometimes this is confusing for new people, like because this for na, this is filled here, and this is not very obvious that there is a circle there. Yeah? So sometimes it's confusing whether it is gra or gna. But just observe that keenly there, that if there is like a circle or there is a block there, it is a na, na. If it's just a line, that is a gra. Similarly, ta. So we have double ta here, ta, ta. So we could have written it like this or like this. Both are fine, ta, ta. But generally that half ta, you will find it just a line here. So the ta, what I had shown before, like this is fine. But you will also find it like this. Okay? Ta like this, something like this. Okay? Which is like this indicates that half ta, or actually full ta. Ta. So here it is double ta, and there is dma here. Then da and ma, half da and full ma. This half ra we already discussed like tarka. And then there are ksha, jna, and shra. So these are special notations in Devanagari. This ksha is a conjunct with half ka, and sh. Actually half sh, and then a. Right? There are three sounds in this, three letters actually. Ksha. And there is tra. Tra is ta and ra and a. Again, this is a special symbol, tra. And there is jna. What is jna? Ja and ya. So it is written like this, like jnana. Jnana, in that word we have jna. Then there is a shra. Shra is actually sh. This is a sh symbol, and if there is with our usual notation, we could have written like this, but you don't see it like this in writing. You see it like this in Devanagari. Okay? Shra. Okay, so these are some Devanagari principles you should know, and these principles, more important is the speaking. Okay? Speaking, I'm again not going to go into detail because most of you already know this, and there are 5 positions in the mouth, right? There are ka, kha, ga, kha, nga, the first line here uses the position of this kantha or back of the tongue here. Okay? So there is a contact here between the back of the tongue and this back of the throat here, or the back of the jaw here. So this first line of consonants while pronouncing uses that ka, kha, ga, gha, nga, and the second line of uses the next part. The second one has this cha, cha, ja, cha, ya, uses this part. The middle of the tongue here, the top surface comes into this touch here. Cha, cha, ja, cha, ya. And also for sh, we'll see that later. Then there is that's the second line. Then there is a third line, ta, tha, da, dha, na, that uses the next, this one position, which is like a curve here. Now and there is a ta, tha, da, dha, na, and the next line, ta, tha, da, dha, na, uses the back of the teeth here. And the pa, pa, ba, bha, ma, the last line of consonants, uses this, the lips for pronunciation. Now, for English speakers and maybe for other non-Indian language speakers, it may be difficult because what is difficult? As what happened? Okay. My experience goes, the most challenging part is this line. Okay, ta, tha, da, dha, na. Okay. Because as I understand, the ta, tha, da, dha, na, they need this part, and most importantly, or more importantly, this part needs to be touched with the tip of the tongue, which is rolled. Okay. This rolling position is not there in many other languages. Okay. So that is where that difference in the pronunciation happens. Okay. So note that for ta, ta, da, dha, na, the middle line, the tip of the tongue has to be rolled back, and the back of that tip, okay, has to touch here. So that is the correct pronunciation of ta, tha, da, dha, na. Because in English language, when we say dog, or let's say tea or tiger, so that ta, there is no rolling. Okay? Just the tip is used here, and that tip is touched somewhere here, not the back of the teeth, but somewhere here. Okay? So that now, when I pronounce it, so when I pronounce with this tip of the tongue here, say tiger, tiger. So there is not much difference, but now when I use this part, tiger, there is no, perceptually there is not much difference. There is a subtle difference, but the correct position is this one. So even for dog also, when I say dog, I am using this da here, rolled. But when I use this one, it changes a little bit. Dog. Okay? That is how the pronunciation happens probably in this English-speaking community here. So, but we do not have, in Sanskritam, we do not have a position here. We have it here. And probably in East European languages, probably they do not have it, but they have the tip of the tongue touching here. Okay? For example, when you say dog or tea, what we hear them is tea, or dog here. So the English speakers, they use this one with the tip of the tongue, but in the Sanskritam, the correct pronunciation is here, with the tip of the tongue rolled back. Okay? That is important. Let's see the question here. Some question. Does the book have the English transliteration of special characters? Which book?
I was just asking about your book. You know how you were just talking about the specials, the combined letters.
Yeah.
The slide doesn't have the English transliteration, and I get the pronunciation mixed up.
No, in the book is not about Devanagari. Yeah. Where is the book here?
Okay.
So here in the book is not about Devanagari script. It is just about the Sanskrit the learning. So this in the beginning I have just given in the book has just this chart of letters. So, but there is so you can have those transliterations in probably the workbook, which I can send the link later if you do not have it. That was from a different author. The workbook, which Uma, I think you have it. So we'll send it like that. So that is specially for Devanagari writing. Huh?
I have the book, the workbook.
Yes.
Yes.
The
They're great.
Yeah, the workbook part 1, part 2. So those should be used for practicing Devanagari. They also have, I think, they have the transliteration probably. All right. So let's start. About 10-15 minutes. Let's start with this our main book here, and start the introduction on the first lesson here. Okay. So I'm using this, as you know, I'm using this my own book, that is Sanskrit Bodhini, which I'm going to follow, which I feel it is easier just if you follow that. How do I go forward? Can you page down? Yeah. I'm using this Kindle app. This is a Kindle book. Kindle app on my computer. Links for the workbooks, I'll send the link books. Yeah, there are links. You can download those workbooks for script book 1 and 2 PDFs also, and they're available for purchase also on Amazon or some other sites. If you prefer to buy a paper copy and practice, but there are PDF copies available for download. Yeah, and this book also is available for Kindle version also and paper copy also, paperback. Now, Parichayaha. So, what this book, the Sanskrit Bodhini, this book in some parts I have given this transliteration is available, and as again said, we'll have to do away with the transliteration. So, then it moves away from the transliteration later. Okay? So let's say, Parichayaha, just to make it easy to begin with, so there is transliteration available. So Parichayaha, introduction. So we'll start, somebody who can read Devanagari, we'll start with them.
Shall I? Vijaya,
you want to read?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Mama nama Rameshaha. Mama nama Rama.
So what we are doing here, the first lesson here, Parichayaha, introduction. So this is when we are meeting somebody, when we are talking with somebody, what we do usually, we introduce each other. So we are trying to do that. So the top part here, this is the title of the lesson. So what is written here? Parichayaha. introduction. Parichaya means knowing, introduction. The transliteration written here for just to begin with. And Mama Nama Rameshaha. And the English translation is given for some of the parts here in this book. Mama Nama Rameshaha. What does that mean? So this is how we introduce each other. Mama Nama Ramesha, my name. Mama means my, Nama means name, and Ramesha means the actual name. Now here, if somebody's name is Ramesh, I write it in English here. If somebody's name is Ramesh or Ramesha, sometimes it's written like this or without a, with a in English, doesn't matter. But in Sanskritam, we are going to use a visarga sound. Is the visarga sound that we are going to use for mostly for male names. Male names. So as you see here, Mama Nama Ramesha. So let's see who are the other people here who are males, whether they can introduce themselves. And also we'll see the Mama Nama Rama. This is the second part here. Okay. My name, again, say Mama means my, that remains same, and Nama means name, and Rama. Rama is name of the person, who is female in this case. Rama is the actual name of the person. So that is, so you substitute your name in this place where it is here. So let's say, what are the other ones? Sorry.
Sanjeevji, I have a question. When the visarga is at the end of the word, right? Are we stressing on the ha sound, or it should be Ramesha?
And not stressing on the ha sound. Ramesha.
It should be Ramesha.
Because ha visarga sound is to be pronounced like a whispering sound, and it should be very light. Ramesha.
Yeah. So no
Ramesha.
Ramesha. It's Ramesha.
Not Ramesha.
Yeah.
So the ha is a different sound. This ha is a different sound. But this visarga is a different sound. So many of you have attended that Shiksha course. Do you remember what is the difference in the sound? A very distinct difference. How are they differentiated? Well, how do we pronounce her? What is the difference? When I say her,
open
breath of a snake for the visarga, like a
breath of a snake for the visarga. But putting in the technical terms, what is the difference? So we know what is the internal efforts, external efforts, right, for these different sounds. So when I say
Mahaprana.
Yeah, ha Mahaprana, and visarga is also Mahaprana, but what is the difference?
Can I attempt, Sanjeevji?
Yes, sure.
Ha, the letter ha has its unique sound, whereas the visarga follows the sound of the previous letter.
Yes, that's very good. That is very one distinct character. Like if it is like following a different vowel, like kaha, like, so we are not going to pronounce this as kaha. This is pronounced as kaha.
Is it that strangulated sound, or it's like?
No, this is not strangulated.
Oh.
Strangulated comes only if something is following it. Some like ka or kha or pa or pa follows visarga. Then there's strangulated.
Right. Thank you.
Now this is like a paha or anything like that. So anything like that. So, or it might follow a different vowel, another vowel like ki. Let's say ki and then visarga. Ki. But so, as Shiva was saying, we are not going to pronounce it as kiha. So that is one important difference. Yeah, yes, they are Mahapranas, and then Mahapranas requiring more breath. And then what else? There is another one, another characters of this, as per the Shiksha or the pronunciation, science of pronunciation, another character is the nada, right? Nada, or the sound in it, the vibration in it. Remember? Vibrations, nada, ghosha. Samvara, nada, ghosha. So there are two types of external efforts, samvara, nada, ghosha, and vivara, shvasa, aghosha. Right? So this ha has a sound in it or nada in it. Like when we say gha or ga, there is a nada. Nada means what? You can experience that. You put your fingers around your neck, outside, around, and then when you pronounce this ga, as in Ganapati or Ganesha, ga, you can experience those vibrations through your fingers or through your the hasta, what is that? The hand. Whereas in ka, when you pronounce ka, those vibrations are not present. Ka, ga. So similarly, when ha is pronounced, that vibrations are present. Ha, like ga. But when visarga is pronounced, the vibrations should be absent. That's how the visarga has to be pronounced. Ha, presence of vibrations, ha. Whereas visarga, absence of vibrations, ha, ha, ha. See that whisper, ha, ha, ha. Okay? That is the difference. Ramesha, 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 not Ramesha. That becomes a sound after sha. So there is no sound in the visarga. So mama nama Suresha, bhavata nama kim, mama nama Ashoka. Yeah, please. The last one, somebody read. Vijaya, if you want to read this last.
Mama nama Suma.
Mama nama?
Mama nama Suma.
And the last one?
Mama nama Malati.
Malati. Malati.
Mama nama Malati.
Yes, Malati. Okay, so a couple of minutes. So let's quickly introduce your name. You can. Vijaya, how do you say your name? Mama nama.
Mama nama Tatiana.
Mama nama Vijaya.
Mama nama Vijaya. Very good. Vijaya. Let's start with somebody said who is Satyanand?
Tatiana. Mama nama Tatiana.
Tatyana. Okay. Thank you. Dhanyavadaha. Okay. Next, Uma.
Mama.
You want to?
Sorry.
Anybody? Yeah, go ahead.
Mama
Somebody.
nama Maria.
Maria. Mama nama Maria. Mama nama Velam. Mama nama Velam.
Mama nama Shiva.
Mama nama Shiva. Now, yeah. So right now we will discuss about when, how, and when the visarga like Shiva can be used, and when we can use a different way. For example, Vilam. Is that Vilam? There is no visarga there. There is no Vilam. So we will discuss that later. For right now, we will keep it simple. Just whatever your name is, try to say that name as it is. Like Mama nama Suresha, Mama nama Shiva, Mama nama Vijaya, Mama nama Tatyana, Mama nama Maria. And what else? Who else is there? Mama nama
Jaya.
Mama nama Jaya. Jaya.
Mama nama Girija.
Mama nama Girija.
Mama nama Veena.
Mama nama Nirmala.
Mama nama Archana.
Yes. Anybody else? Mama Uma.
Mama nama Uma.
Uma.
Mama nama Mangal. Should I make it Mangala?
Yeah, it is better to make it Mangala.
It's
Because in
Mangal.
I'll tell you the reason in the next class.
Okay.
Nama Santosha.
Mama nama Santosha.
Mama nama Radhika.
Radhika, that is simple. Mama nama Radhika, that's simple. So, okay. Good. So yeah, that's fine.
I must say that it was so simple that I was reading this over the week practicing and was actually able to read it in the Devanagari, and it was very satisfying. Thank you.
Yeah. Good. So we'll wrap up today. We have reached the end of we have reached the time limit. And practice this. We'll start with the names. And Devanagari, if you're not familiar, please practice it. I'll send you the links for whoever wants the workbooks. And the Mama Nama, try to practice that. And with your friends also, you can, with your family and friends, you can try to say your name. Mama Nama Ramesha. And also you note that here, another one, the Bhavataha. Bhavataha means you are. So because the English translation is given here, Bhavataha Nama Kim. Bhavataha Nama Kim means what is your name. You can practice this conversation at least, to beginning conversation, introduction between with your family members and the friends if they are willing to participate. So Bhavataha Nama Kim. So you can ask what is your name, and if the other person is female, then you can use Bhavatyaha instead of Bhavataha. Bhavataha for male, Bhavatyaha for female. But Nama will remain same. Nama is name and Kim means what. So you can ask Bhavataha Nama Kim, Mama Nama, whatever, like Mama Nama Sanjeevaha. Bhavatyaha Nama Kim, Mama Nama. If the other person is female, you will ask Bhavatyaha Nama Kim. The other person will ask her answer. Mama will remain same. Mama means my. Mama Nama Radhika, Chandrika, something. Okay, so we'll stop here today. We'll meet again next week. Any questions you can email. Dhanyavada. Namaskara.
Dhanyabada. Namaskar.
Dhanyavada.